Hello.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm good. God bless.
That's good. Just a quick question. You say that Jesus claimed to be God. Did
Yes, he
he
did.
claim to be God while he was on earth,
Yeah,
walking, or
totally.
where?
John 8:58, John 10:30. He forgave sins while he was on earth. He also claimed to remember a time before the foundations of the earth when he was glorified with the same glory as the Father. He also told his disciples to basically honor him in the same way they honor the Father. Those who do not honor the Son do not honor the Father. Those who do not honor the Father do not honor the Son. Jesus also he claimed to be the first and the last. That was after his resurrection,
So,
though.
so yes, slow down, slow down. So what was the first one again? Sorry, you just
Yeah, there's a
go
lot
point
of
by point if
parts.
you want.
There's a lot of parts. This is why the vast majority, well, this is why Christianity, billions of people, have reached the conclusion
Yeah.
based on the scriptures historically that Jesus was claiming to be God. Even the disciples reached that conclusion if you if you read the New Testament. Clearly they thought he was God in human flesh.
Claim to be God. That's my point. Well, if you can show me where he did, just point by point, because you just went through them pretty fast.
All right, which one do you want me to go to?
Just any, whatever you wanna.
All right. Well, I'd say one of the clearest ones is he takes on the name of God, John 8:58. In a Jewish context, when he says, "Before Abraham was, I am," he is claiming to be God by taking on that I am name. He also said that Abraham rejoiced to see his
I
day.
am name, but
He saw it
he
and he was
doesn't take
glad.
to. He doesn't take to. Even if he was before Abraham, that doesn't make him God.
Okay, so what do you think he is?
I believe he was a prophet and a messenger.
You think he was a prophet that came from eternity?
No, I don't believe that the Bible is reliable, but from what you're reading, does not claim he was God from that
It
verse. That's
does.
what I'm saying.
It
In what
clearly
way?
claims he's God over and over again in a Jewish context. That's why they unalived him, actually, is because he made himself equal with God. It was blasphemy. Why he got
No,
unalived.
they unalived. But sticking to the verse for now is him saying before Abraham was I am. How does that make him God?
He also
That's what I'm
said
asking
that
you.
Abraham rejoiced to see his day. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day. My day, he said, and he saw it and was glad. If you read that verse, he was talking to them, actually, I think it was on the mount where Abraham was sacrificing his son or going to sacrifice his son.
Well, yeah,
But
but
anyways, when
my
he
point
says
is, how does that
Abraham
make him
was
God?
before Abraham was I am, he says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was I am." They picked up stones to throw at him for blasphemy. You know what blasphemy is? Like,
Yeah, I know what blasphemy is, but blasphemy doesn't. You don't just have to be claim to be God to blaspheme. You can claim to be. If I claim to be a prophet of God, am I blaspheming you? If I'm not
all
a
right,
messenger of God?
all right. So you think he's just claiming basically to be a very very old being that existed before Abraham?
No, no. What I understood from the verse, if you want to go to the Old Testament, where God says one of His names is I am. That's correct. Is that what you understanding from it? In Exodus, is that how you understand the verse, or you're saying that because he was before Abraham, that makes him God? What do you how you understand the
No,
verse?
no. The main point that he claimed to be God is when he took on the name of God. I am is
Yes,
Yahweh.
but he doesn't claim that he is I am. He says before Abraham was I am.
Yeah, he also does it two times. One time when he's walking on the water and they worship him. His disciples worship him when they see him walking on the water. He says, "Here I am." It's a nuance. It's in a Jewish context. I understand it's not the easiest one to understand. So let's go to John ten
You know,
thirty.
I get what you're saying, but just with that one before we go, so you believe that I am is the name of God, yeah?
Yeah, Yod He Vav He. It means I am or I will be as I
Yes,
will be.
that's one of God's names. That's what you're claiming.
Correct. He took on one of God's name. He
Okay.
also took on the name beginning and or first and the last,
Yes.
beginning and end.
Yeah, what I'm saying is him saying before Abraham was I am is not saying that he is God. If you want to use that
Okay,
as
what's
being
his
God's
name
name
then?
before Abraham was God. You can, if you want to swap I am to God's name, all you're saying is before Abraham was God.
Okay, well, let's look at the context then. Let's go
He's
back
not
to
saying
John.
I am, if that makes sense.
Let's see what they asked him. Let's see what he's responding to. Let's do
Yes.
that.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna read the context. All right, we're gonna start all the way at, like, let's say, John 8:36. So if the Son makes you free, you will be free indeed. I know that you are Abraham's seed, yet you are seeking to unalive me, because my word has no place in you. I speak the things which I have seen with my father, therefore you also do the things which you heard from your father. They answered and said to him, Abraham is our father. Jesus said to them, if you are Abraham's children, you would do the deeds of Abraham. But now you are seeking to kill me, to unalive me, a man who has told you the truth, which I heard from God. This Abraham did not do. You are doing the deeds of your father, they said to him. We are not born of sexual immorality. We have one Father, God. Jesus said to them, if God were your father, you would love me, for I proceeded forth and have come from God. For I have not even come to myself, but he has sent me. Why do you not
Isn't it,
understand?
sorry, just to cut you off one sec. Isn't it clear that God sent him?
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, you can continue. Yeah, I just want to put a point there, but you can continue.
Yep, I agree. He sends the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament as well. And the Messiah is sent by God, but he is also God. Why do you not understand what I am saying? It is because you cannot hear my word. You are of your father the devil, and you want to do the desires of your father. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. Whenever he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own nature, for he is a liar, the father of lies. Because I speak the truth, you do not believe me. Which one of you convicts me of sin? If I speak the truth, why do you not believe me? He who is of God hears the words of God. For this reason you do not hear them, because you are not of God. The Jews answered and said to him, do we not say rightly that you are a Samaritan and have a demon? Jesus answered, I do not have a demon, but I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. But I do not seek my glory. There is one who seeks and judges. Truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone keeps my word, he will never see death, ever. The Jews said to him, now we know that you have a demon. Abraham died, and the prophets also, and you say, if anyone keeps my word, he will never taste of death, ever. Surely you are not greater than our father Abraham, who died. The prophets died too. Whom do you make yourself out to be? Jesus answered, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. It is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you say, he is our God. And you have not known him, but I know him. And if I say that I do not know him, I will be a liar like you. But I do know him and keep his word. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. The Jews said to him, are you not yet 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham? Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am. Did you catch it?
Yeah, I still don't see where he's claiming to be God.
Okay, the John 8:57, bro. So the Jews said to him, you are not yet 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham? Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am. He's not referring to
Okay.
God. He's referring to himself,
Okay.
because that's what the Jews are
Okay.
asking him about. They're asking
So
about
before
himself.
Abraham, what he's saying that before Abraham was, I am.
Correct.
So you're understanding that before Abraham existed, Jesus was. Is that how
Correct.
you try?
He is God.
Does that make no? Does that make him God if he existed before Abraham?
Not necessarily, but it makes him older than Abraham, which is interesting that he would claim such a thing. And remember
Yeah,
such a thing.
that's fine.
So
I
let's go to
understand.
John 10:30. There's pieces of the puzzle. There is pieces of the puzzle. So let's keep going. Don't worry.
That's what I'm saying. You've got to get pieces from here and pieces from there. Sorry, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm at work. I can't actually.
Okay,
I'll try to join
okay.
a bit
But
later.
if you go to the beginning
Yeah.
of the same book, bro, if you go to the beginning of the same
Yeah.
one of the most clear verses in the Bible that shows. Sorry, can you? I gotta mute you because something's going on. Something's going on. So I'm gonna mute you up. If you go to the very same book, that I just pointed you to. You're trying to say that this isn't saying he's claiming to be God. Well, if you go to this very same book, first chapter, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Then you jump to John 1:14, just a few verses later, he says of the same Word, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we have beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, referring to Jesus, clearly referring to Jesus. So in the same book, first chapter, Jesus is claimed to be God. Now let's go 2 chapters later. He's claiming to be God again.
My question was
I am
why
the
he was
Father.
his own words. Sorry, I was asking from his own words, not anyone else's words, not John's
Yeah,
words.
no, I
from
understand, but
words.
you're trying to kind of make it out like that's not what the verse is saying, when clearly that's what John is writing into this verse. Jesus, if Jesus said that, that's in context of the same book, in context, he's claiming to be God there as well as many other places.
It's not clear. You can interpret it that way, but it's not clear. That's what I'm trying to say to you. It's not clear. Anyone can interpret.
I'm saying in context, bro. What you're trying to do is you're trying to take this verse and you're not applying any of the context of the same book. Clearly, in the first line of this book, we have Jesus being proclaimed by John to be God. So John writes into this gospel. No, please hear me out. So John, in this gospel, he writes in John 17, in John 10, in John 8, he writes into this gospel that Jesus is God. So if you want to say John 8:58 isn't saying that, you are wrong, sir. When Jesus takes on the name of God, I am, like in Exodus chapter 3, in the burning bush, the angel of the Lord says, I am that I am. When Jesus takes on that name, John is writing about a claim that Jesus is making, a claim that he is God. That's the context of this book. You have to understand, you can't take this verse and try to say that's not what it's saying without considering the context of this text. John clearly is writing into this text that Jesus is God. You can say that John is wrong about that, but to say that this verse is not saying that is simply wrong. It is saying that. John says that over and over and over again in this gospel. So John 10:30, John 17, verse 3. Jesus is glorified with the same glory as the Father. Jesus tells his disciples to honor him in the same way that they honor the Father. Anyone who does not honor the Son does not honor the Father. He also tells his disciples that when you have seen me, you have seen the Father. So over and over and over again in this same book, he is talking about how Jesus is God. If anyone wants to request up, I'm not sure what's going on with the dude, but we'll take another guess. Tap the screen for me, y'all. If you like the live, tap the screen for me. I appreciate it. Drop a follow if you enjoy watching. I do enjoy these conversations for the most part. It's just I get a little frustrated sometimes because it's like people don't want to understand. Like he's continuously trying to point me back to, no, that's not what this verse is saying, when the context shows that John believes Jesus is God clearly over and over and over again in this book. So when Jesus says, before Abraham was I am, taking on the name of God, then yeah, that's another claim of many in this gospel where John's writing about how Jesus claimed to be God.